Now this, President Obama wants to make sure people who are on the no-fly list cannot buy a gun. Katie Pavlich is with us. Now, Katie, you're a big supporter of the Second Amendment. You're a gun rights person. We know that. What do you make of the president saying, if you're on the no-fly list, you can't get a gun?
Well, look, I think that, when you hear the president say that, it makes a lot of sense. It's a logical argument to make. We don't want people who are on a terrorist no-fly list or watch list to get guns. However, when you look at the details of what the terrorist watch list and the no-fly list, which are actually two separate things, entail, the legislation in Congress right now, which is supported by Senator Dianne Feinstein, is about the terror watch list. And that list has 700,000 names on it. It's gone from 40,000 names under President Bush to 700,000 names under President Obama, and it's very easy to get on the list. For example, Steve Hayes, who is a Fox News contributor, got on the terror watch list. There was a report just this week of a 4-year-old getting on the terror watch list. And what it comes down to is you cannot strip the Second Amendment rights from American citizens without due process simply because you're trying to prevent terrorists from getting firearms. So
the list actually is much bigger than the no-fly list, which was first mentioned. It's actually the terror list, which is a much bigger list of people, right?
Right, and it's very vague. So the FBI recommends hundreds of thousands of names per year, and something like 1% of them are rejected. There's not a very long vetting process for checking out whether the people who are being submitted to the list and their names are actually connected to terror organizations. And so it's very easy for Americans to be misidentified, for them to be put on the list without any kind of due process, and therefore their Second Amendment rights are stripped, and that's a very big problem.
May I just raise this issue? There are a lot of suggestions following the Paris attack and San Bernardino that more American citizens be armed, that they carry guns in all kinds of places which we thought of as being largely gun-free. Whether it's a church, a sporting stadium, a shopping mall. How do you feel about that? Guns everywhere.
Well, Stuart, I actually did a documentary with Outdoor Channel all about gun-free zones, and the bottom line is this: gun-free zones are not gun-free. We saw that in France and Paris with the attacks in Paris. Their guns are highly regulated and extremely limited in that country, and yet terrorists were able to carry out attacks with guns and pipe bombs and suicide vests and grenades. So we're not only talking about firearms here. When we discuss gun control for terrorists, it really is a laughable notion. The bottom line is that terrorists are going to be able to get their hands on guns.
I got it, Katie.
And if terrorists are going to get guns, then Americans are going to want them to defend themselves.
I've got to extend this by just 30 seconds. How are people going to feel about this? I mean, if I go into a shopping mall, I'm not so sure I really want to know that maybe 20 or 30% of the other people there are packing heat. You know what I mean? I'm not really comfortable about that.
This is why we call this concealed carry. And I would be happy to take you out and take you to a class, and you'll learn all about how concealed carry actually is a much better way for people to carry, protect themselves, protect other people without causing uncomfortable situations. And we've proven through the statistics over and over again that the states with the least amount of gun control and the more people carrying firearms, the less crime, the fewer crime incidents there are, and terrorism is no exception.
Okay, I hear you. I hear you loud and clear. Katie Pavlich, everyone. It's a very interesting discussion. A lot of people are having that discussion right now, as a matter of fact. Katie, thank you very much indeed.
Thanks,
we'll see you
Stuart.
soon. Thank you.
Yep.